This used to be a chicken shed. Now it's where every project on this channel gets built. I used to work in IT in a big city. Good pay, good office, but the pattern never sat right with me. 5 days of pressure, then a weekend spent running somewhere just to reset so you'd have enough left to survive Monday again. I watched that cycle for months and asked myself one question: why am I building a life I need a weekend to escape from? So I made a decision. I left and I came home. My house is a 2 BHK. My parents have one room, my brother and I share the other. If I was going to build something real, I needed space that was mine. Behind the house, a 16 by 14 foot chicken shed, metal roof, one wall finished in brick, the other three just mesh grill wrapped in shade net. Rats could get in, rain could get in. Not exactly fit for electronics. I set one rule before I touched anything: no contractor. I'd design it myself, supervise every single day of work, and keep the cost as low as it could go without cutting corners on safety. This wasn't my first time building something from scratch with no formal training. Years earlier, I'd built a full smart home system for this same house. Custom code, custom circuits, automatic lights, a password door lock. Before tutorials for that kind of thing were easy to find. I trusted that instinct again here. The base wasn't built to carry weight, so brick walls, 1500 to 2000 bricks on three sides, were out. Too heavy, too much risk of the whole structure sinking into the soil during monsoon. I chose cement and chicken mesh plaster instead. Lighter, cheaper, and it wouldn't push the structure past what the base could take. I stripped the old nets myself, then brought in local workers I trusted. No contractor, daily wage, on site, every day I was there directing it. We tied chicken mesh to the metal frame and plastered over it, all three open sides. Door and window came from a scrap shop. The shelf grid is built around the heaviest thing in the room, my inverter and battery, 40 to 60 kilos together, sitting straight on the floor instead of a raised shelf. Everything else got a category: switches, connectors, LEDs, sensors, drivers. I know which box before I stand up. The electrical work is mine too. I'm not a trained electrician, so I overbuilt the safety margin instead of cutting it close. 16 switch points, separate MCB breakers for the room and the inverter line, and my own earthing rod, copper, 1 meter down. White walls, grey floor, not styling, just light. It reads clean on camera, and that matters when you're shooting every week. The lighting and audio setup is where I actually got it wrong more than once. I built my own softbox first. Cardboard box, a 9-watt LED, wire held on with tags and tape. It looked fine for about a day. Then any bit of wind or a hand brushing past it, and the whole thing shifted position. Every session I was fighting my own light. Then the background. I put up a plain green cloth attached with magnets straight onto the metal roof. No holes, no wires, easy to swap. That part worked fine, but the masking didn't. My edges kept showing green lines no matter how I lit it. I'd built a studio and I still couldn't get a clean shot. And the room itself worked against me acoustically. New plaster, metal roof, low ceiling. The first time I recorded voiceover, it came back with an echo I couldn't cut in post. At that point, I had a lab that looked right in photos and didn't work for a single one of its actual jobs. The green screen went, grey cloth over it instead, same magnet mounting system, straight onto the metal roof. No holes, no wires, no rope. Just magnets holding the cloth in place. And I can swap green or grey in minutes. I replaced the cardboard softbox with a real Godox 80 centimeters. Then added a second, larger one once I saw the shadow on one side. That second light cost close to what all the electrical wiring and switches in this room did. But lighting isn't something I wanted to keep rebuilding. Two low cost RGB lights did the separation work. Simpler. And it looked better. The rest of the setup came together the same practical way. An old desk became my project table with an ESD mat on top for safe top down shots. The camera sits on a normal table mounted on a stand, clipped to a wooden stool for height and stability. Nothing fancy, just what worked. For the echo, I looked at acoustic foam first, then stopped. This room handles flammable liquids every week. Flux remover, isopropyl, lipoflux. Foam is one more thing that burns, and I wasn't adding fuel to a room that already has real fire risks. So I used what was already in the house: thick winter blankets, clipped up on three sides of the mic and laptop with ordinary cloth clips and rope, another one on the floor underneath. Zero extra cost. The echo dropped out completely and my voice actually came through clearer than before. Two problems, two fixes. Neither one cost me anything beyond what I already had. This isn't a set, it's a working lab. This is where I built iLink, a wheelchair a person can steer with just eye blinks and head tilts. Where I built a 3-in-1 power tester people use to check second-hand electronics before they buy them. Where I built a DIY spot welder running off a single LiPo battery. And where I built a 4-wheel drive stunt car controlled from a browser that flips and drives on either side. Every part of this room exists because of projects like these. The shelf grid, the earthing, the lighting. None of it is for show. It's infrastructure for building things I actually ship to the internet. This is another experiment from my electronics lab. The next challenge begins soon.